I heard about it in 1995 from a dear friend of mine who's no longer with us, Elaine Welton Hill. She had become involved. We were in another theater company together and had moved on from that company, and she joined Actors Co-op, and she told me about it. And I auditioned and I didn't get in. Which is, another story. But I didn't get in and she did. And so I went to see her in the plays at the Co-op. And when you're an actor, you're really sensitive. And when you're an artist of any kind, you're usually pretty sensitive. And so I had a little bit of I don't know if chip on my shoulder is the right word, but I went in to see these plays at Actors Co-op thinking, oh, they didn't take me. And I'm sure this is, I'm just going to, watch this because I want to support my friend. And what ended up happening is the folks that I met there that were in the production with Elaine, that were behind the scenes, that were, running the company, they were so generous and so kind. They completely wore me down. And I ended up deciding I've got to become a part of this company. I love the work they do. I love the mission of the company. It's a Christian company. And so I got over my ego and decided to audition again. And I got in. That was in 1997. And over the years have been in leadership. I'm now the artistic chairperson for the company. There was a period after I got married where I went on leave for a short period of time, but pretty much during that whole, what is that? 20,
A lot.
a lot of years. Yeah, it's a lot of years. It's really been my home. I work at other theaters too. We all have worked at other theaters too, as we are members of Co-op, but Co-op kind of just has become a home, and the membership has become like a second family. It's great to be on stage with people that you've worked with a number of times in other shows, or you've directed, or they've directed you. Linda's directed me in things. I've directed her in things. Crystal produced a show that I directed. It's that family. And then beyond that, it's become wonderful because we have so many guest artists from around Los Angeles that also join us, either as artists, designers, or on stage. And so the family of Co-op is really extended way beyond just the membership. It's the whole theater community. And that is the blessing of the Co-op. It's just a great place to be.
And how I got into Actors Co-op is basically what Nan described as a guest artist. I wasn't a member at the time. Richard Israel was directing Our Town, and they were looking for a stage manager. And so he called me up and he was like, "Are you still acting?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am. But I had been away from it for about 10 years. So trying to find my way back into this thing called acting, I didn't know exactly which way to go. And then I got that call from Richard. So I said yes. And so he was like, "Okay, come in and audition." And after that call, I said, "What am I doing? No, I can't do this. I can't. No, I can't. It's been too long." I got so afraid. So I tried to get out of it. And and so Lauren Thompson was the producer at the time. I was given all these excuses. I said, "Look, I work. I can't get there. I can't be at rehearsal at this time because I work all the way in Century City. There's no way." And so she was like, "Richard will work around your schedule. Get there, audition." So I went and I auditioned because I said, "Okay, God, you are really talking to me now. So you really want me to do this?" And because I had been praying about it actually. And so I went and I auditioned and I ended up getting the part. And so being a part of that cast and all the members of Actors Co-op, you just saw how much they loved each other, how much they cared for each other, how much they supported each other. And I just saw that, and they just were so loving and so kind and so giving to me. And then they asked me, later on, it was like, "Crystal, would you like to, audition to be a member?" And I was like, "Yes." And so I was so excited that they asked me, and I was really pumped and energetic about it, and I went in and I auditioned. Yes, after doing the stage manager and all those monologues, I still had to audition for Actors Coop. So
At least
yeah,
you got in the first time.
so yeah, that's my story, and I love it, and love everything about Actors Co-op.
Well, Actors Co-op began as a journey for me when I first moved to Los Angeles early in 1991. And so I'm the old person here. And toward the end of that year, I heard that a girlfriend of mine that I'd done theater with back east was going to be doing this interview thing. I knew nothing about it. I knew it was called Intermission. And it's an organization that is no longer around, but they would do these evenings, I think it was about once a month, where somebody in the arts, writer, actor, designer, whatever, would come in and be interviewed about their life as a Christian and as an artist, and how did they fit those together, and what their theology was about theater or the arts. And a guy named David Shaw, who is no longer with us, was the interviewer. And I went solely to see my girlfriend because I was so homesick. And I loved the warmth in the room, and the fact that there were other people who weren't going to argue with me about wanting to be an artist and an actor. And I had already done a lot of theater back east, but
on Broadway, when you say back east, on Broadway.
And but this Los Angeles thing was a whole new animal for me. And so the main thing, cut to the chase here. Okay. The Actors Co-op had a little flyer on the table outside of this interview thing that had what their new season was going to be. And the co-op had only been around about 2 years at that point. And I had heard them mentioned in the church service there at Hollywood First Presbyterian. And the pastor was saying, everybody come out and support our brand new theater company. And I was like, oh no, it's going to be like Jesus Theater, where people like make you have an altar call at the end. And it's really sappy. And so I avoided it like the plague until I saw that they were going to do Into the Woods. And this was back in the early 90s, before Into the Woods had become a movie phenomenon. And it still was not as well known a piece as a lot of Sondheim musicals. And I had always wanted to do it. So I thought, okay, I guess I got to audition for the whole company in order to do it. So I did, and I got in. I don't know that my audition was so great, but the artistic director at the time, Robin Strand, had seen me in a show off Broadway. So it was kind of an easy in. It was really nice. And I was cast ultimately in that production of Into the Woods, and then left it because I was offered something at the Taper, and I sort of felt like I had to take a paycheck. So my introduction to the co-op was Into the Woods, and then I ended up doing that at co-op just a few years ago, like 10 years ago, maybe. But the co-op, for me, it's alternated between being an artistic home and a spiritual home.
Well, for me, I think Actors Co-op is important because the caliber of work that they do and showcase our seasons are filled with so many different types of plays, and people will come, and there's also a musical involved each year. And sometimes if I'm producing a show and I'm hanging out at intermission, you can hear people going, oh my God, that was the best musical I've ever seen. Oh my God, did you see that? I mean, it's just the feedback that you get from people that come in to see an Actors Co-op show. They're filled with so much joy they get from seeing our shows. They love it. They come in and they come to Actors Co-op for an experience. It's a night out. Like Linda said, you get to go out, and you experience something You're being around people that you love, other theater people, and it's just something that they take away. And the conversations at the end of the show are what's great too, because it's always food for thought. You know, just producing, the play that Nan directed. At the end, there's so much conversation. People are coming away with, oh my God, that was brilliant, that was excellent, that was awesome. And it's just so much that we give to our audiences, and we want to continue doing that.
I think in saying we want to continue doing that, that's, we want to keep theater alive, and obviously we need money to do that.
Hmm.
And especially at this time, all theater companies, pick a couple that you want to support, because it's too difficult to know what's around the corner right now. We got to keep the lights on, the ghost light on stage, as I heard somebody say when this all first started to explode. I think the Actors Co-op is unique in the types of plays that we choose to do, and also the types of plays that we choose not to do. And there's, we usually there's usually a play that's more intense or more thoughtful, or something that has a moral compass to it. And that could be any one of the plays of the season. That could be the musical, and then there's usually something that's a lighter comedy. There's something that will cover all the bases for a family, I guess is what I'm saying, and do so in a way that you're probably not going to come and hear David Mamet's F-bomb dropped a whole lot, And I think people know now that they can come there with their kid and they're not necessarily going to have to apologize for anything afterward.
I think it's important to support Actors Co-op and certainly the intimate theaters across LA, in that we each have a different way of telling our story. You can go to the Fountain, you can go to Antaeus, you can go to Celebration, you can go to Open Fist. You'll see intimate theater. You'll be close enough where you're going to get spit on, you're going to see, sometimes the paint's still drying because we're all kind of scrappy in our ways of producing. But you're going to get a very different experience in the intimate world of theater than you will at a big theater, or certainly, at a movie. You're going to have a visceral experience. And I think that's, one of the important things about all of our companies, all of the intimate theaters in Los Angeles. And I think Actors Co-op, as each of the other companies, Actors Co-op has our own specific voice. And I think it's important to be heard. I think each of us has a look at the world that we can all sit in the theater and go, oh, wow, that's me up there. Or I hadn't seen that kind of a story before. I never thought of it that way. It's a place to see yourself and also put yourself in the shoes of somebody maybe you never experienced before. And I think that's what theater does so well, because it's this communal relationship between audience and artist. And especially in this time, I keep going back to this time, but especially with what we will have experienced when we all come back together, I think there's going to be a lot of, cathartic release in the way that only theater can do. So we just invite, whenever that happens, we just invite everybody who's listening to come back, to come see us at Actors Co-op and come see an intimate theater in Los Angeles, because it's so important.